as far as a lecture, I'm going to spend, I don't know, a little while talking about the outline of the overall project, and we'll kind of compare it with the syllabus, like when different parts are due, what are those parts, and we'll kind of go through the outline and the syllabus together, so you'll have a good feel for the rest of the semester. And I'll talk about what each section is, and then each week we'll go into much more detail into each section. Now, so before we get started, I mainly use Word, but I was teaching practicum class, and I said, hey, I'm also, because some of the students in practicum class are also in this class. And so we were talking about do you use a laptop, do you use an iPad? And the discussion led to what programs they use. I mainly use Word because that's kind of what the university uses. But one of the students showed me Google Docs, and there is a template in Google Docs that automatically puts everything in the latest version of APA style. Has anybody used that? Have any of you used it? You will now.
Template saved now.
Yeah. Anybody online use that template for all your papers in counseling? Because this student told me that she just pulls it up for every paper and it automatically has APA style. You just kind of fill in each section. It's not plagiarism, it's just formatting. You know, it even has samples of different reference styles for different types of references as well. So if you do use Google Docs, look up that template on it, APA style, and see if that is helpful to you. It may be helpful to you. It may make life a little easier so you don't have to look everything up in APA. Okay. The second thing is that I already showed you how Google Scholar works. But remember, I mentioned this last week too, that there is a place where you can click Cite or a reference and you can choose APA. I'm not guaranteeing that it's 100% perfect, but it'll get you close to APA style for the references in case you need to fix any of your references. So there are a lot of more modern technological helps out there that I don't feel it's cheating or anything like that. It's just style, you know, it's just formatting. So, all right. I also want to, so I have, I run LPC supervision groups. So after people graduate, if they don't have LPC supervision online, I run like an LPC supervision group so that they can get licensed. And one of the people was one of my old students, and he's now in a doctoral program. And he shared with me, I learn about all the new technology from students. And he showed me a new research program called Research Rabbit. Has anybody heard of that or used that? All right, well, let's look at that. You can see what that's like. to pull it up. Here. So I just want you to kind of see what it's like, because it is really is cool. So I just typed in Google research rabbit. And here it is. I usually use my EDU email from the university because right now they do not charge for this, but if they ever did, it'd be a good chance that they're not going to charge university students for it. So I usually use my university email. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And what you do is I created a collection, okay, and I just called it Eliason. And I just threw all the works of mine that I could find in this collection. And because, you know, if I wrote about it, it's something I'm probably interested in. But what you can do once you find, and you can do this for any topic, especially the one you're researching now. So let's say, you know, you're working with college students who are experiencing anxiety during their first year of college. Okay, so that could be one of your collections. It could be that you've done a little research and you found that a lot of people find that CBT helps. So you could add that to the collection. Whatever you like. This happens to be a collection on like existentialism and death anxiety and regret, things like that. So once you get your collection, and I would wait to do this until you get your collection, you could put your sheet of 12 references that you handed in today in this collection. And then you simply click on similar work. Look at that. Isn't that great? So these are all the articles in my collection, and these are related articles to this. Yeah.
Related by subject or like author or
So I think that they're related in two ways. So one of the authors in my collection is in there, or by topic. So I think it does it those two ways. Yeah. So like I think a lot of these are not by author. That's my friend Adrian Tomer, but DeCarlo, I don't know who they are. So I'm guessing Tomer is in green because they're a related author. All these are related authors. And then blues are by subject. So it looks like that's the way they did it. And I'm new to this, so I'm still exploring it. And then you can explore people, these authors, suggested authors, linked content, and you can change the settings. I just found out about this, so I have a lot of exploring to do. But I mean, it looks really, really worthwhile because you can find so much related information just by putting in your favorite references or articles on a topic you've already researched a little. So I'd be curious if you wanted to use this, what you find, or you could even share it with the class, how you found it helpful. Maybe you found certain Like you could have it look at abstracts, you know. You can do similar work, earlier work, later work. So that's pretty interesting. You could do these authors, suggested authors. Links. Oh, Wikipedia. Wikipedia in China. And then if you find articles that you like, you can add them to the collection. Now, the person that showed me this, he really understood how to use it better than me. He created like this three-dimensional view, and he could like spin it around and look at all the different links. And so I'm not quite there yet, but you know. So I just thought I'd share this stuff with you because it's kind of new technology to me, and maybe it would be helpful to you as well. All right. So the next thing I'm going to load is the outline of the completed project, because I kind of want to look at where we are, kind of walk you through this project, and then I want to, and there's nothing to read for this week, but I will open up week 4 and post these videos after I upload them to YouTube. No, else I don't forget. Okay. All right. So this is week 1. I posted all of those handouts and everything and references. And so this is the sample paper. And honestly, it's the same format that we're using in this class now. And this is kind of a handout for their model. They used it at PCA. And but if you just want to see a good sample, you know, this is the paper to look at. It's another student's paper. I have permission to share it. And she turned this paper into a presentation at Pennsylvania Counseling Association. And yeah, it's just a good standard example. Okay, so this is what we're going to look at now, the research final paper outline. I showed you this before, but we didn't go over it in depth. And we're going to look at the different sections in it now. And so one of the things that would be perfectly fine is, let's say you go to the Google Docs and you open up the APA template. You could cut and paste each one of these sections into that template and then just type your paragraphs underneath each section. It's like fill in the blank, you know. It may help to organize your thought process or your research, or make sure you don't miss anything as you're writing this. You know, or you could just do it on your own, either way. So, you know, so the title page, of course, that's the first page. In APA, they normally count the title page as page 1 and the abstract as page 2. And of course, the abstract is just one paragraph. And sometimes you can put keywords underneath the abstract. So when you hand in the lit review, because that's kind of where you are now. Yeah, I'm going to read the article critique. I'm going to read your references, and we're going to have recommendations for maybe how to round out your references a little bit to make sure everything's covered. But, I would automatically start creating this final paper. Like, don't see these assignments as separate papers. See them as we're working on different parts of a larger assignment. So start putting it together now. So I would make the title page, and I would write an abstract, which is only one paragraph. And I would put the references at the end, and just update them as you need to. And then in between the abstract and the references, I would cut and paste the titles of the different sections so that as you begin writing a section, you'll know what order it goes in, you'll know where to put it. It'll basically be you're writing some paragraphs under each section. So it's also a way not to forget any section, or if you have questions, maybe I didn't cover it yet. So, I think that I just think it's an easier way to do it. It won't feel so overwhelming. It won't feel like this is just a huge project. I'll never get it done, because we're just doing it in little sections. So for example, week 5, next week, you're going to be reading chapter 3, and we're going to be talking about quantitative design. And, so that's right here. And week 6, we're going to be talking about qualitative design and putting them both together. So 5 and 6, you're going to get done this whole section right there in the next 2 weeks. Next week, I'm also going to talk about population and probably sampling. So, I think that I tried to follow this outline so that each week, as we go through a different topic, you can start writing it, So the lit review, nothing's due until the lit review. But remember, that's your biggest project for the semester. So don't wait. Start it now. It's not something you can just write in a few days, or not the night before for sure. But, write it in sections. If I go over what quantitative stats are, write that. If I go over qualitative, write that. Start writing different sections of the lit review itself. And right here, you even have the subcategories for the lit review. So we're going to be talking about all of these in detail. And even though the next assignment says lit review rough draft, you're going to include everything up to including the lit review. So that's what is included in the lit review. And that'll take us up to week 9, which is 2/3 of the semester. So that tells you this is 2/3 of your final project, really. It's that big, the lit review. After that, we're going to edit the lit reviews together. If you're asynchronous, I'll be happy to meet with you and we can look at your literature review together and just kind of talk about it. So part of this class really is kind of working together on things. And it's not just me looking at your lit review in front of the class. It's every student, helping you with your lit review. But if you're asynchronous, I'll be happy to help you make an appointment. We'll look at it together and I can make suggestions so that, it'll be a completed project. So after that, is what I think is the fun part. So after the lit review, definitions, that's just terms that the average counselor might not be familiar with. It's not simple terms that every counselor already knows. It's terms that are more focused and the average counselor might not be familiar with those terms. But the best part, my favorite part, is developing a model. And that's, okay, so you figured out the problem, you've looked at research and what helps anxiety and what helps people their first year in college, and maybe 3 different theories that are proven to help this population the most. And maybe you're curious if something new that hasn't been tried yet could also help this population. And so how would you put all of those together into a comprehensive model to best meet the needs of that population? And just imagine yourself after you graduate and you get the job you've always wanted, working with whatever population you're researching. And how would you put together all of the information and treatments that you've just found in your research into one comprehensive model that, let's say, you're going to work 12 weeks with some client who's experiencing these issues. What would you do with them for 12 weeks in therapy? What would that look like? Would it include individual? Would it include group? Would it include psychoeducational? If it's in a school, would it include classroom? So what different theories and what order would you include those theories to incorporate into treatment? What would be something new that you want to try to see if it would enhance these other models of treatment? If I put 3 of these models or theories together, would that work better than any one by itself? Things like that. So the model is only a few pages. It's not like the lit review. The model's like 3 pages. And part of one of those pages is a graphical representation, like a flow chart or a tree or something that represents the different parts of treatment. So, and you can be creative with that. So I think that's the fun part. That's the creative part of this project. The last part is basically a proposed study. Okay, so hey, I'd like to use this model, and maybe I'd like to write an article myself because I want to share it with other counselors that are helping this population just like I want to. And maybe I'd even like to get a grant to study this. So what would a study look like? And so the proposed study is really only 1 to 2 pages because you're not going to run the study. That's the hard part, running the study. But just proposing it, it's really not that difficult. So we're going to walk through each one of these things together, and we're going to process it, type of study, how you're going to run it, what measurements, how you're going to assess it. But if you find a measurement, it'll tell you what the reliability and validity are, and what are some limitations. Then you kind of summarize everything and you've already got your references, but you could add to them, you know? All right. Questions about kind of the bigger picture? That's kind of the semester outline. The very last class, you're gonna hand in your final paper, which is everything put together, and have a little PowerPoint for the class. That's about it. All right. So that's kind of where we are now. And remember, if anybody who is asynchronous wants to talk with me about references, email me and let me know, and we'll set up a time to meet. Or if you don't want to meet, I'll just give you written feedback. So most people are going to make some changes. So doesn't mean you won't get points for what you've done. It's just everybody may add some, take some away, research in another area. It takes some tweaking, you know, to get it right for this project. So, all right, that's what we're going to be doing here on Zoom and in person, the second half of this class. And like I said, if you're just watching the recordings, I can work with you in person or give you written feedback. Just let me know. All right. I am going to stop the recording